what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be looking at Jeffrey, our rescue Oscar. Got him probably a month and a half ago, and I wanted to give him some time to adjust to his new home, go through his medications for his hole in the head disease, and just kind of get settled in before actually making you guys the second or part 2 video to his setup. Now, as you guys know, I got a pretty big soft spot for fish, and then with fish that are in need, like this guy, he was in a, I would say, let's be nice, a very uncomfortable, not appropriate tank setup or living environment. So he unfortunately suffered the consequences with some illness, some hole in the head disease. His personality was not that good, but he is starting to come around. He's definitely showing some more puppy dog-like features that you definitely see in Oscar fish, and he's getting pretty good with the boys and feeding and all that stuff. But either way, this fish is he's pretty decent size. I would say he's probably, I don't know, close to a foot. He's got to be close to a foot. Pretty big boy. Let's see if we can get a good shot at his hole in the head. You can see he's got it right there in the center of his forehead. Believe it or not, it has gotten much better. I did do a water change this morning, so he's probably not the happiest, but it has gotten significantly better. It has shrunken up, and you can't really see the depth of it anymore. It's starting to fill in, so that's all good things on top of, you know, doing water changes and really giving him a much better environment. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about his tank here. We'll talk about my thought process behind the plants and the wood and all that good stuff, and then we'll feed him and give you guys a little more close-up look. So this tank and stand is actually, or was, a all-in-one. I think it was an Innovated Marine 80-gallon, something like that. It did have the baffle. It was actually, like I said, an all-in-one tank. It had the glass here with like all the filtration and all that stuff in the back. Anyways, that has been removed, and that was removed prior to me getting the tank. Just something that the client wanted to do. So with that, this tank is now basically just a glass box with a hang on the back. Well, I guess it's a canister filter. Still hang on the back. Filtration wise, it goes down to a canister filter, but either way, it's just a glass box, and it's pretty wide. It's got a really nice dimension. I believe it's close to 2 foot wide, 17 tall by 4 foot, giving approximately, like, about 80 gallons or so, and that's pretty good for an Oscar fish. Ideally, I do like to keep them in a 125, but I don't have a 125, and you know, we're trying to make the best of what we got. Plus, room-wise, I don't really want to put a 125 right there, and if I was, I'd probably make it a saltwater and just extend out the main display there of the 300. But either way, so this is a pretty good tank, and it suits him well because it really allows me to get some big driftwood to come out the top there, some plants, and it just gives him some wide open area where he can swim and move around and really get to get the stretch out, if you want to call it that, because he was in a 55-gallon tank and he didn't really even have enough room to turn around in there. So this is a big change. So with that said, that's the tank. It's a beautiful tank, beautiful stand. Got it for free, so you know, with that, I'm not going to complain. Let's look at the filtration real quick, which is actually something that I'm going to have to upgrade at some point, because it was just a canister filter that I had laying around here. It's just a little bitty one, but thankfully I do 50% water changes every other week, so and change this out, all the media and all that stuff, so it's not really going to be that bad as long as I can keep up with the water changes. But either way, it's a small filter. It was actually made for my little tank here, my little planted tank, and again, this is all I had on hand at the time, and I'll probably get something bigger here in the future. But either way, it has a built-in UV, has one basket in there, which I just keep some filter floss because we're using it to catch basically detritus and fish poop, and again, changing that out and cleaning that out every other week. So other than that, other than the filtration being a little underpowered for him, that's pretty much the only downside of this setup at the moment, and again, we'll probably fix that in the future. Now, when it comes to lighting, I'm using one of my Kessels here. Let me see if I can. The 160, I think I give you guys a zoom in there. Maybe, there you go. And I just kind of have it hanging up there with, from the top. I did have a light shade on it, but it was too light shady, if that's the word. It basically, it definitely helped focus more of the light down into the tank, but it wasn't as big as the spread that I want, and I like to have all these plants spread out through the tank. Now, speaking of plants, and why do I have plants? Well, these are pond plants, so basically they're little floaties. I picked them up from the local fish store, and they reproduce like crazy. I do have some duckweed in here. He hasn't really eaten any of it. It's starting to reproduce over here now that we're through our nitrogen cycle and all that good stuff. So we're getting some duckweed growth. But I do have a couple different varieties of pond plants here. And I just trim them and cut their roots as we go. But the point of this is, first of all, it serves two purposes. One, it's going to help filter out some of the nitrates from the tank, just making the water cleaner in general. But the main purpose and the main reason why I have it is when these guys float around, they come over to the side and they end up right here by this driftwood. Now, if you look at the driftwood, I got this piece and kind of planned this all out in a way that he can hide. So there's a little bit of a divot there where he can hide his body if he's feeling stressed out. And then all the roots will come down and they all sit above that area, and he gets up in the roots and he can hide. And I think that was really helpful for minimizing the stress because before he had multiple fish in that 55-gallon tank, massive Plecostomus. He had another, I think it was a Jack Damsey or something like that. He had a lot of fish in a very small tank. He didn't have any kind of room for himself. He was very stressed out laying on his side, and this gives him an area where he can just hide in the wood if he's feeling a little bit stressed out. And then, of course, the plants take care of the filtration, but also give him an area where he can hide from the light and really get away or feel like he's getting away. And I've noticed definitely a change in his personality after adding the plants. And yeah, so I think it was a good call. Another plant that I have here is, of course, I have Java moss and some Java fern on the wood. Just kind of traditionally, that's what I like to add to my driftwood. And that will fill out over time. I always like it to kind of stick out of the tank if I can. Just kind of gives a little bit more of a, I don't know, more of a natural look. Now, other than that, it's pretty minimal. I do have some gravel at the bottom that I use just for aesthetic purposes. I do siphon that every single water change. There's some pebbles down there that he's been moving around, give him something to play with. I do have a 3D printed ball that I throw in there that he kind of pushes around with his mouth, giving him something to do since he doesn't really have any tank mates. I am going to get a Pleco at some point. I'm going to find something a little bit larger. I just didn't think it was necessary to keep the ones that came with him just because they were really big, and I just didn't want to have the extra bio load while trying to kind of wean him back to health. So that's kind of his chill spot there. Pretty cool dude. Now, when it comes to water, I do use my RODI water. So we are doing, like I said, 50% water changes with the RODI here. And then I put the equilibrium per most of my planted tanks. And that kind of takes care of the minerals, all that kind of stuff. So with that, food-wise, we have our cichlid food here. Let me see if he wants to eat. I didn't feed him today. But we have been messing around the tank, so he's probably a little stressed out. Hey, Jeffrey, you want to eat, bro? You want to eat? Come on. All right, so we do have our basic, get some light here, some cichlid pellets, nothing too crazy. And I wanted to keep it simple, nutritious early on, and like I said, just kind of make everything easy. So let me go ahead and see if he wants to eat. Open this up here. You want to eat something, dude? You want some food in your mouth? You want some food in your mouth? I don't know, we'll see. Like you said, he's probably pissed off. But I throw in probably 5 or 6. He'll come up and grab them. Most of the time, when the boys are here, they'll come down, grab some food. He eats it right out of their hands, nibbles on their fingers, so he's not too aggressive. He does get a little irritated sometimes and splashes water out of the top of the tank. But other than that, he's got a great personality. And like I said, I just did a water change, so he's probably a little irritated with that. But yeah, overall, pretty happy with the setup. As you guys know, I do enjoy having a planted tank somewhere. I used to keep one in my office before I put 3D printers in there. And I always like to keep one. We used to have the 125 here. Planted tanks are just kind of where I started. I always like to have it. It's a good change. So we have planted and then it goes straight to unbelievable amount of blue. So having the two different types in here is always great. And yeah, so my plans for this guy in the future, just going to keep him. I'm going to keep him in this tank. I will upgrade his filtration at some point, and hopefully we can completely heal the hole in the head disease, and he'll just be another part of the fish room. He'll just be, he's a big boy. He's going to get even bigger, and just looking forward to that. So yeah, pretty sure that's it. Sorry he didn't eat, guys, on camera. I was kind of hoping he would, but probably just didn't time the water change the way I should have, because when he sees me come down here in the morning, he's like, yo, snout out of the water waiting to eat. So thanks for not putting on the show, Jeffrey. Just running the YouTube channel here. You got to participate. He's like, yeah, I don't know what you're saying, bro. Anyways, guys, it's been a long day already, so it's only like 11 in the morning. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Any questions, or if you had any experience with Oscars, let me know how you did with them. This is not my first time with them, but I do enjoy it. I really do. So I'll see you guys later, all right? Peace.